Hi everyone, welcome to I ordered my oil kit, so now what do I do? My name is Jacqui and I'm here with Heather Clark, and we just wanted to spend some time with you to actually walk through all the oils that are in the Everyday Oil Kit and share with you what we do with those oils, and hopefully just give you some ideas of how you can use it every day, and answer any of your questions that you may have about how you are currently using your oils or what you could possibly do with them moving forward. So just before we get into all of the individual oils, just thought that we'd spend a few minutes to let you know what our history is with Young Living and how we came about bringing it into our lives. And mine goes back a couple years ago, and it was actually when I was preparing to have surgery. I was doing some research on what I could do after my surgery for scar care, and that's what brought up essential oils back into my life again. I've always actually been interested in essential oils and used them at one level or another throughout my life, but this particularly interested me because of the article that I read that said there was only really one natural cure for scars, and that was using pure, authentic lavender oil. So that's how my search began, and I was Googling therapeutic grade lavender oil, and time again, Young Living kept coming up. They are a Utah-based company, so my whole thought was that I wanted to find something local that I could use as opposed to be buying something from Utah. But with all my research again and again, it kept coming back up with Young Living. So anyway, long story short, I did try out some other lavender oils that were local. Didn't really get the same result with them, but I didn't know that at the time. And again, I kept researching, Young Living kept coming up. Finally, I just thought, okay, there's a reason for this, and I need to actually try this Young Living lavender oil. And researched it all. I am by profession an accountant, so when I was looking at how you actually get involved with Young Living, the Everyday Oil Kit was presented to me and kind of told me how it would replace a lot of the over-the-counter drugs that I would have in my medicine chest here at home, and different remedies that I could use. And that interested me as well, not as much as getting the lavender oil, but I thought, you know what, for economy's sake, it made more sense for me to buy the Everyday Oil Kit and then actually be a member and be able to get wholesale pricing for additional oils that I would buy. And that's what persuaded me to do that and get involved at that level. So anyway, long story short, got my kit, tried out the lavender oil. It was night and day to any oil that I had used prior to that, which actually started my dedication and my cheerleadering for Young Living. And just the feel, the look, the smell, everything about the Young Living lavender was totally different than any one that I experienced before. So that's how I found Young Living. That's how I started using it. And just from there, which I'm sure you'll find once you're using your Everyday Oil Kit, my curiosity grew. I found different ways and different combination of oils that I could use for different things, whether it was just from feeling better on a daily basis, improving my immune system, or whether it was for a specific ailment. And just I found the more I used them, the more I learned about them, and the more I was also opened up to other types of oils that they have. So that's where my passion arose for Young Living. Heather,
Thanks,
do
Jackie.
you want to tell a little bit? Yeah.
Yeah, thanks. So my story is a little bit different. My name's Heather Clark, and I'm a researcher just like Jackie too. And I found myself in a position of being completely exhausted. It kind of slowly came on, and then it hit me like nothing else, where I literally could not get out of bed and walk my dog and function. And I didn't really know what was happening to me. I ended up finding out that what I had been suffering with was adrenal fatigue, and it's so popular amongst us women who overdo it and all that. So I went to my pharmacist, who I call my doctor, who's just amazing. And he gave me some supplement suggestions, and he told me I needed to do some yoga and I needed to quiet my life. And then I said to him, well, when am I going to be able to get my life back? And he said 3 to 6 months, and I just about fell over. I went, 3 to 6 months? No, I'm not willing to accept that. So that's where my real research began, and I started looking into how I could supplement, and I knew that I needed to work on what he'd suggested about being quiet, and I've understood that because I've had a lot of learning around that in my life. But I really wanted to be able to find a way, if there was something out there, naturally, of course, that I could speed up that process and feel healthy. That's when I found out about a particular oil called nutmeg oil that would be really helpful in speeding up the process of healing my adrenals. So I had contacted Jackie, who I had seen was using Young Living oil, and told her that I needed to get my hands on some of this oil, and that's when she suggested that I look at getting the everyday oil kit. That way I would get the wholesale prices, I would have access to any of the other oils, I would get the diffuser, which I could use the nutmeg oil in as well as topically. And I knew that Jackie was the type of person like me who had done a lot of research, and so I really trusted that this was something that I needed to do, and I was really excited to get to connect with another woman like Jackie, who I knew was somebody that I wanted to be a part of my life because she believed in so many of the things that I do about being healthy and looking after ourselves and all that. So that's where my oil life began. And again, I had used some other essential oils. I would buy them at the grocery store, and I was, for a time in my life, I was using lavender oil like crazy. But when I got my kit in the mail, the first thing I did was I opened up the lavender oil because that's the one that I really knew what it was all about because I'd been using it. I could not believe the difference between that oil and the one that I had been purchasing at the grocery store. It was night and day, like you said, Jackie. It really was, and it actually had color to it. Um, and now when I go back to that bottle that I still have that I never use of the store-bought lavender, it gives me a headache. I don't know what is in it. And of course, it says it's 100% lavender oil, and obviously it isn't. But I don't know. But for whatever reason, I started on my oil journey, and when I got this kit, I thought, wow, this could be fun. And within probably a month, I had cleaned almost everything out of my medication cupboard. I got rid of the neocitrins, I got rid of the Advil, I got rid of all those things, and I just kind of made it a game and a science experiment, and I kept trying these things out, and they were working, and here I am. And I love them so much. I know that there's a lot more to these oils than just helping me with a headache. I understand now the vibration that they are putting when I ingest them and they're going through my skin, that I feel amazing. I know there's a lot more to these oils than just a simple headache remedy. And so I'm here now with Jackie, and we just want to share a little bit about the kit that you've ordered, and talk a little bit about each of the oils that come in it and what we do with the oils. And of course, there are many things that you can do with all of these oils that we don't necessarily or haven't necessarily used. And I think that this is a great place for us to share, and hopefully you will join us on some of the upcoming hangouts and share what's been working for you as well.
Good.
Yeah.
So before we started, we were trying to figure out the best approach to go through these everyday oils. And you'll notice when you got your kit, you would have also got this little booklet that would have come with it. That is the Everyday Essentials. So we thought just to give us a bit of roadmap on how to go about it, and a way that you can follow us too. And if you want to make little notes in your everyday oil booklet as we go, you could definitely do that. That we would just work our way through in accordance with the book. Now the kits that we both got, a couple of the oils have changed in the newer kits coming out. The majority of them are the same. So we might be talking about, like for instance, today we're going to talk about lemon, and I believe it's now been replaced with the citrus fresh oil, which you can basically use the same way. But we'll just carry on through this book, and then we can add some more information in future hangouts about these other oils as well.
Mm-hmm.
So without further ado, let's jump right in, and we're going to start with frankincense. So this one, let me see where I have to put it here. This one here attracted me as well, just because, you know, from the biblical side and from the baby Jesus, I'd always read about frankincense and been very curious about it, and it is, to me, quite sacred. But when I got it and actually started using it and reading things about it, some of the key things that came up for me is that it is very good to use for breast health. So you could put a couple drops on your hands, and you can actually, even when you're doing your breast exam, you could use the oil to, you know, put on your breast, and it actually is supposed to promote breast health. So that was one of the highlight things for me that I liked about it. My daughter, my teenage daughter, actually uses it on blemishes, or if she's got any acne starting on her face, she does use it on there as well, and it's very good that way. It has also been kind of known for me too for a headache relief. You know, peppermint is a very good one as well, but the frankincense is just a soothing, almost meditative type of solution for a headache. And that actually too is something that they recommend in here, is that you can diffuse it when you're in prayer, doing yoga or meditation to enhance relaxation and deeper spiritual connection.
Mm-hmm.
So it is a very sacred, powerful oil for me.
Yeah. I use frankincense every day. I actually make a face cream that I use every morning. And it's just two ingredients. It's the coconut oil and the frankincense. And so I just sort of melt the coconut oil and put some drops of the frankincense, and then I've got a little container that I keep it in, and I use that as my face cream. It's supposed to be really good for the anti-aging properties, wrinkles, like you said, like teenagers with pimples or blemishes, that kind of thing. It's really good. And it is, for me too, for any kind of meditation, you know, to put that in my diffuser. It just makes me so relaxed. I really like that oil. If anything else about that oil, or do you want me to go on to the next one, Jackie?
Sure, let's go on with the next one.
Okay, so the next one in the book is lemon oil. This is a great one. Well, there are so many different uses for the lemon. I know for me, just to put that in my diffuser in the morning, it just really wakes me up. My favorite use of lemon oil is in cooking and in my water every morning. I love it. I love how I feel when I drink it. And just remember too that these oils are very strong. So I remember a few months ago, my daughter and I were making some guacamole, and I didn't have any lemons. And so usually I put a squeeze of lemon in my guacamole. So I said to my daughter, just put, get the lemon oil and put a drop in there. And she put 3 drops in my guacamole, and it ended up not tasting like avocados. It was just kind of a lemon green paste. So be very careful with them because they are quite strong. They can be quite strong. But I have used them in cooking in other instances when I've run out of lemons. But I drink the lemon water a lot, and especially if I'm not feeling that well, I might add it with some of the other oils into my tea. It's great, like if you make yourself a cup of green tea or something and put a drop. It's really delicious.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. I know, and I'm going to kind of jump a little bit here, is that there's two combinations that I use lemon in. And one I just discovered this winter, and I totally swear by this. This is actually what kept my whole family at one point or another had the flu and or a cold. And so our house was full of sneezes, runny noses, all the rest of it. And I was just adamant that I was not going to get sick. I was going to be really conscious on how I was using my essential oils to keep me healthy. And so the remedy that I found that I did every morning, and I still to this day, I'm not doing it every single day, but if I start feeling something coming on, then I'm back into it. But I'm using a combination of the lemon, thieves, and purification.
Mm.
And so what it is, And actually, the lemon I am pretty much using every morning now in this way is that it was recommended just to do 1 drop of lemon in a glass of water first thing in the morning before you have anything else in your stomach. And the lemon oil is so strong that one of the examples that were given, and if you've ever sort of experimented with it and accidentally put it in a plastic container, it actually eats through the plastic.
Mm-hmm.
So by having that 1 drop in a glass of water first thing in the morning, it'll eat through any junk that's in your system that shouldn't be in your system and allow you to pass it right through the way it's meant to be. So anyway, that was the one part. The second part was the purification, and it was just putting 1 or 2 drops and rubbing it on your chest every morning, and it just purified what was going on within your respiratory system. And the third one, thieves, was putting that on your feet first thing in the morning and trying to spend 20 minutes off of your feet once you put that on. And it actually, well, I should talk about this when we get to thieves, but it actually gives you permission to spend 20 minutes either in meditation, in prayer, or just reading for 20 minutes before you get up in the morning, and letting thieves do what it has to do to protect your body and build up your immunity system.
Mm-hmm.
So there's that, and then the other real wonderful use that I have with lemon is in treatment of allergies. And it's the prescription, they call it LLP, which is lemon, lavender, and peppermint.
Mm-hmm.
And it is a natural antihistamine. So whether you have a cold and have the sinus cold, or whether it is the allergies that you're suffering with, this works, for everybody. Everyone in my family at one point or another has done it. They don't like it, but they start coming to me now saying, okay, what can I use?
Mm-hmm.
Just simply doing, it's up to you as far as the strength, but typically you only need 1 drop of lemon, 1 drop of lavender, 1 drop of peppermint, just in the palm of your hand, and lick it so it's on your tongue. Hold your tongue to the roof of your mouth, and probably within 1 minute, if not less, you'll notice that everything clears in here. So if it is allergies, if it's seasonal and you're using it for that, you might find that it's maybe every half hour you're redoing it. But it's probably only going to be for half a day, maybe a day, and then you'll find that your symptoms are just relieved.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my other use of lemon. So it's kind of, I'm using lemon more in combination with a few other things,
Right.
but it is a wonderful oil.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So
So,
I guess the next one is the peppermint oil. And I know for me, when I first got my kit and I was starting to see that I could, replace some of these things in my cupboards with that. For me, my husband has just had chronic problems with his sinuses. He was born with a sinus infection. His whole life he suffered from headaches. And he took Advil 3, 4 times a day, every day since I've known him. And so we were getting to the point where we were getting low on our Advil supply, and I asked him if we could try a little something, and he could be my guinea pig. And so one of the things that we did for his headaches was put a drop of peppermint in his hand, and then just put it up to his mouth and his nose, and just breathe it in. And that was between that and 2 drops or a drop of lavender on each temple. That just those alone were enough to release his headaches at times, and it was just so freeing for me to know that he was able to do that and not put a toxic drug into his body. So I am forever grateful for peppermint, and I've used it I use it a lot with other things too, and I know they have when you've got the flu, I know that there was the lemon and the thieves and the peppermint together to make a tea. And I found that when I wasn't feeling well, it really helped. The peppermint, just smelling the peppermint was just awesome. I love that one.
yeah, that would be great. Yeah, for me too. I've used it in similar ways of what you're talking about. One way that I use it is I'm a runner, so I did read a lot about it being, well, actually, there's two key things with peppermint. One, they say that the peppermint oil is like a hammer oil. So if you were using some kind of remedy of maybe 3 or 4 oils on your feet, for instance, and then you really want it to activate and to take action in your body quickly, if you follow, or the last oil that you use on your feet is peppermint, it apparently enhances the hammer effect of getting those oils into your bloodstream.
Mm.
So I had read about that and experienced it by using it. But what came from that too is that with it being peppermint, it does actually give you pep. So if you put it on your feet before a workout, and even if you do it the last thing before you put your shoes on, first of all, your shoes aren't going to be so stinky. And secondly, it does give you a little more energy for your workout. Plus, what I find, especially for runners, is you've got it on your hands. So if you're partway through a run and you're starting to feel a little tired or fatigued, if you just hold your hands to your nose and inhale a little bit, it almost just gives you that little pep or that little rejuvenation to get through and finish your workout. So
Mhm.
that's another way that I use it that works well for me.
Great. So then we're on to in the book. The next one in the booklet is lavender, and obviously, I'm assuming that's probably one of your favorites.
It is one of my favorites for sure. Yeah, it's again, scar care. I can't say enough about it. It's been like 2 years since my surgery, and although you can see my scar, it is almost gone. It is, and I don't know whether it would ever disappear totally, as it is a surgical scar, but it definitely is almost healed, or the way it should be, or the way it could be, I guess I should say.
Mhm.
Um, the other thing that I've used lavender for a lot is if any little burns that you get, you're cooking or something, if you just put lavender on it right away, it doesn't scar, it doesn't blister, it just kind of takes it away and soothes it. The other one, which you may or may not know or use it that way, is if you have chapped lips or chapped skin, it takes all of that away as well.
Mhm.
The taste is personal. I don't mind the taste, but my daughters, I've told them to use it that way, and they don't particularly like the taste. But again, you can dilute it a little bit with coconut oil, or even with your a clear chapstick or something, you could do that as well. Um, Kind of cool, and I think the reason why we're doing this Google Hangout type of thing as well is as more people start using these oils and researching for their own purpose, they come back and they share it. So one of the girls that I work with um, bought some lavender from me, and she wanted it just kind of for herself, for the sleeping actually, because that's my other favorite use of lavender, is using it with peace and calm at night on my feet, and there's no night sweats when I do that.
Mhm.
So that's what she wanted it for, and so got it for her. And her teenage daughter suffers horribly with menstrual cramps every month. So she said she got on Google and she started doing some research, and she read about putting lavender on your hands and actually inhaling it for 15 minutes, which I had never read this before or anything. So she read it and she made her daughter sit and just inhale, breathe in this lavender on her hands for 15 minutes. And she said her daughter was protesting, like, this smells like hay to me. I don't want to do this. And she's like, just do it and it's going to help your cramps, right? So she did it, and she said that was it. Like, they were gone. And typically she's, debilitated for a whole day with these menstrual cramps.
Mhm.
So I was pretty impressed with that, and I actually haven't experienced that myself. Well, I don't have that anymore, but um, definitely, if anybody's suffering with that, it's definitely worth a try for sure.
Yeah, that's great. I
Hmm.
love stories like that that we can help our children,
Yeah,
you
naturally.
know, with those
Yeah.
kind of things. So the next oil is purification. This is one of my favorites for kind of a funny reason, but my two things that I use it for every day. Um, One is I make a spray out of it that I spray my dog and myself before we go into the forest every day, just to keep the ticks and bugs off of us. I add some other stuff to it too. It smells. I love going for my walk. And if I pass by people, they always say, "You smell so nice." I also put a drop of purification on the back of my dog's neck every month, and she never has fleas. And I used to buy this horribly toxic stuff
Mm,
from the pet store that I would put on the back of her neck, and I just feel so good knowing that I don't have to worry about the fleas and I don't have to put that toxic stuff on her. And then my other most amazing thing that I make a spray with the purification is for my husband's very smelly hockey gear. And so he, for a while, was using a Febreze and Febreze-like products. And I know that what I found is the more I've taken the toxins out of toxic materials out of my life, the more times that when I smell something like Febreze, it just gives me a headache. It's just
Mm-hmm.
horrible, horrible, horrible stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So was doing all this research when I first got my kit, and I saw the properties of the purification, and that not only would it take away the smell of his badly smelling hockey gear, but it would also be cleansing and disinfecting, which is really important with hockey gear because you don't want to, what's growing in there, right? So I've got this spray bottle that I've made, a big bottle, and it says for hockey gear. And every day that he comes back from hockey, he sprays it, and it's been a godsend for me. I'll tell you, not having to smell that horrible, horrible hockey gear. So that I think those are my favorite uses for that oil. Do you have
Oh,
anything particular that you use that oil for, Jacqui?
well, you know what? That again, that I found building the immunity system one this year is a new use that I had with it. But prior to that, I would always diffuse it if anyone was sick in the house. Just
Yeah.
I knew that it was purifying the air, and I actually every Tuesday is Nana Day at my house, so my grandkids come over, and we live across the street from a really nice park that has a nice creek that goes through it. So we like to go down there and play. And at different times of the year, the mosquitoes are quite bad down there. So we actually all put on purification before we go down there. I mean, here's another good thing that I use it for as well, is I will take it with me in my golf bag because the same thing happens. Not always are the mosquitoes bad, as anybody who golfs or even going out for a walk, right, would know. But the days that there's a lot of mosquitoes around, just putting a little bit of purification on your hands and kind of all around your body. You don't have to douse yourself with it. It's just having that protection or that aroma around you that keeps the mosquitoes away. So the funniest story about purification was the kids are always so, I mean, my grandkids are 2, 4, and 6. And when I ever talk about any of the oils, I look down at them and their eyes are just so interested in every word that's coming out of my mouth. So it's almost like I'm accountable to them and I know that I need to be really factual and let them know exactly what these things do. So now when we go for a walk, as soon as I pull out the purification, these three, well, three, probably six, but they put out one hand only. Three little hands come out ready for their purification so that they can rub it and put it around them. That'd be my favorite use of it.
Oh, I love it, and I love that you're able to share it with your grandchildren. What a great gift that is. That's
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so the next oil we'll move through is thieves, and of course that's everybody's favorite oil, especially this time of year when there are flu bugs and all of that going on. So I know for us we use it, quite a lot throughout these months, and I actually really like it all year round too. And it's for my husband and his headache. For an instant headache relief, he'll put one drop on his thumb and then just push it onto the roof of his mouth. And in 1 second, his headache can be gone. And I've tried it as well. And again, it doesn't taste the greatest, but I'm used to it now and I love it. But if you're just starting to get a headache and you just want instant relief, that's what's worked for our family. And then, of course, my international student that's living with us was so worried that she was going to get sick. And she had a big ballet recital on the Saturday, and so Monday she came home from school and she was just so worried about catching what all the kids at high school had. So every morning we made sure that she put the thieves on her feet and then put her socks on, and she was so grateful after her concert that she had done her recital, and she said, thank you, I didn't get sick." So it's a great one, and I love all the products, the Thieves products, because I'm just starting to kind of learn a little bit more about them. But one of the things that I really want to do is remove things like bleach and harsh chemicals from my house. And so that's where, again, the Thieves, there isn't just an oil, there are other products that come with it. So it's a really great one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I use the Thieves Household liquid, and I mean, I bought it. it's sort of a huge jug that you get of it, and I bought it probably almost a year ago, and it's still got half a bottle of it. It's very concentrated, and yeah, we love the smell. We love what it does for our bodies in the oils, and it does the same thing, be it your countertops, be it your sinks, whatever. It just kills all those germs and protects the germs from coming back too. But Thieves was actually the oil that won my husband won my husband over. He, in all honesty, at least twice a year was a cold sore sufferer. And it was always times of the year that he was under stress. So he's an accountant as well, and it would always be like tax time. He'd end up getting a big cold sore, and it was always in the summertime. And I think the sun kind of triggered it a little bit for him. So when I first got the kit too, and the first cold sore that he ended up getting, I had read about that, and I said, why don't you just try it? Just put a drop on there. He did. Within the next day, it was totally gone. Every time that he would feel one kind of coming up, he'd be like grabbing the Thieves. He's got a bottle in his desk at work. If he ever feels anything, he puts it on there right away. And from that day, he's never had a cold sore.
Wow.
So he may feel something come, puts Thieves on right away, gone. And really, it was at least twice a year he would always suffer with this.
Wow.
That's that's a real testimony for Thieves. If nothing else, if you have cold sore sufferers, definitely try it out. My mom is 82, and she got very sick this fall. And so as she was getting better, I went over and took her a bunch of oils to use. So she's using RC as the other one that she uses, and Thieves. And when I explained to her how she could use it on a daily basis, especially when she's going out in public or going to church or whatever, when you're around babies, you're around germs, whatever, if she were to put this on her feet every morning, then that would protect her from those germs. And I said, or even just put one drop on your toothbrush every morning when you brush your teeth. So she's been doing that faithfully, and she has not been sick, touch wood, since getting over that in the fall. So we'll see how she carries on, but she swears by Thieves now too. So it's a great, and I would have never known about it if I hadn't found Young Living. Like, it's just their own, I don't know if we have time to quickly tell the story of where Thieves came from.
Well, we are running over time, but I wonder if we should wait, and then maybe what we'll do is we'll do another hangout, and we'll just pick a couple of oils and go into depth with them.
And we could just do a whole thing on Thieves. There's so much.
I know.
Right? Okay.
I know.
There we go.
You're right there. I know, because it is incredible, and the story is incredible. So stay tuned for that one, right?
Stay tuned, exactly.
Okay, so the next one in line is Pan Away, and just my experience with Pan Away is as soon as I opened it when I got my kit, I smelled it, and it was one of those things where I was like, I know this smell. What, where, something came up for me, and I was like, where do I know this smell? My sister has been using Young Living oils for probably close to 20 years, and I used to have chronic neck problems from having a stressful life and stressful job. And every time I would go visit my sister, she used to massage my neck. And as soon as I smelt that Pan Away, it took me a few minutes, and then I realized that it reminded me of my sister rubbing my neck. And I always just remember her taking good care of me and having that oil. And so it's so special. It's amazing how when you can smell something and have these great memories. So, and it's a great oil for back pain or anything like that. And even just using it or smelling it too, it's really good. It's a good one.
Yeah. And I will just say quickly, I love Pan Away as well, wherever it is there. It is another great one for runners or anybody who does a lot of exercising, any type of hockey players, right? The weekend warriors, for any joint pain at all. Again, it's good for arthritis as well. But just for those little daily muscle stresses, muscle pain, just one drop on there, massaged in. Yeah, as Heather attested to too, it's instant relief for sure.
Okay, so the next one is Peace and Calming. That one is, I actually put the roller ball that comes in the kit on my Peace and Calming because I use that one for perfume. I use it almost every day,
Nice.
especially when I'm going to be going out to something that I'm not really sure how I'm going to be feeling, or there might be a lot of energy in the room, and I just want to have the ability to smell and feel good. And I have throughout my house these little concoctions that I mix up with oils and coconut oil. And so the lavender mixed with the peace and calming and the coconut oil, I have a container by my bed. And before we go to bed, if we remember, we rub it in our feet. I think it's a great way to connect with your family. If
Yeah.
you have grandchildren, or just you and your spouse, or just you for yourself, is to rub the combination of those two oils into your feet and let them, seep into your body, to have a great night's sleep. And I know a few weeks ago, my husband woke up in the middle of the night. He doesn't normally wake up in the middle of the night, and he couldn't get back to sleep. He started talking to me, and I was kind of annoyed because it's 2 o'clock in the morning. And so I got out that little concoction and I rubbed it all on his feet. I put quite a bit on his feet. And within the time I pretty much got back into bed and put the covers on, he was snoring beside me. So it's great. And like I said, I love the idea of just connecting with my husband and being able to rub his feet at night if he's had a rough day. So
Hmm.
it's a good routine to get into, I think.
Yeah, for sure. That's great. And that's how I use it too, is at night. I just do 1 or 2 drops of peace and calm and lavender together and I rub it on my feet. And I
Hmm.
mean, my purpose of doing it that way was for night sweats, and it definitely worked. There was no more night sweats and peaceful, solid sleep. Can't go wrong for sure. Just a quick, this one is actually one of my grandson's favorite oils. And what happened with me is that he and his brother, when I would have them, would end up almost beating each other up because they would just get to a certain point where they just would start fighting. So I didn't know what to do one day, and I just thought, I'm going to bring my diffuser down into the playroom, plugged it in, put peace and calm in there. Within about 3 minutes, 2 minutes maybe, the two of them were lounged out in their chairs watching a video instead of fighting with each other. It was magic, really magic. So now he'll even ask if we can diffuse peace and calm.
Wow.
Of course.
Now, what mother wouldn't want that, right?
Exactly. Yes. I
That's
wish I
incredible.
had that with my own kids.
I know. So the joy oil is next in the book. I use joy oil every day, and I think it was you probably who taught me about this one, Jackie. And I put 1 drop on my heart every day, and I get annoyed with myself if I forget. And the interesting thing about that oil is when I first got it and I opened it up, I couldn't stand the smell of it. It was so strong and I didn't like it. And I remember reading that if you don't like the smell of an oil, it means that your body needs it. So I started putting it on my feet, and I just put a drop on my foot every morning, and then I, do whatever. And now Joy is one of my favorite oils, and I try very much to make sure I put a drop on my heart every day.
Yeah, and I do the same. That's how I started too. I was really focused on working on opening my heart and just living from my heart and being aware of my heart. And that's how I found it originally and started using it, just putting a drop on my heart every morning. And then I'd kind of used it for a few months and I started reading something else about it. And it had said that it does work as an antidepressant as well. And I've never really suffered with depression or anything, touch wood, but I started thinking about it and I thought, ever since I've been doing that daily regimen, just putting 1 drop on my heart and actually focusing on opening my heart as I'm doing it, I've actually felt better. I felt happier, and it's very uplifting for your spirits. And that was another oil when my mom was sick that I took her Joy as well, and that's one that she uses every day too.
Mm.
And she was a bit of a maybe she'll watch this, but she did suffer a little bit from depression, here and there, and she'd lost her sister in the fall, so she had some things that were really bringing her down, and she loves the Joy oil as well. Makes a difference. It really does.
Yeah, that's for sure. Yeah, I love it now. Okay, so I think the last one in our little booklet is the Valor. And I remember when I first got that wondering what it was, and I remember reading it was the chiropractic oil. And I thought, what does that mean? But I know that after you've had a chiropractic adjustment, that it's really great to use that oil. And again, it's really good for. I've used that a lot for my husband's back pain and stuff like that too.
I know I love Valor too. This is probably my most favorite oil. And when I first got the kit and I started researching it and trying to figure out how to use it, how or the information that kept coming to me is that it's for courage, right? And
Mm.
it's associated with Archangel Michael as well. And so I started, when I first started using it, I would put it on in times when I was going into a meeting or going somewhere that I was feeling a little unsure and I just felt I needed a little extra courage. Then that's when I would use the Valor.
Mhm.
And then it was after that fact that I found out that it was good for chiropractic type of issues, and I was using it on my neck. And to this day, and we're going to have another Google Hangout on this, it is part of a morning regimen that I do. And it's basically for setting your intention for the day and how you're going to communicate with others.
Mhm.
So it's one of four oils for that, but we'll talk about that another time.
Yeah.
But it's an amazing oil. It's
Mhm.
really powerful.
Mhm. Great. Well, and just so people know, the Young Living oils are very different than just regular store-bought oils as well, because most of those oils, almost all of those oils, are not meant to be injected. So, like if you plan on, replacing your Young Living oils with something from a grocery store, please don't ingest it because I know
Hmm.
that there's a lot of that kind of stuff. And we're not here to diagnose anything. We're just sharing what these oils are doing for us. And as you can see, they've done a lot for us and our family and make us feel great. And I think you're right about the whole depression and the joy oil. And I think all of the oils that we're putting into our body have such a high frequency, being such pure plants. And by putting those into our body, I think that we're just really, I feel like I'm vibrating at a much higher level. And I have had a lot of issues with depression, and I think that when I happen to go a day or two and I've forgotten to use my oils, I really do feel different. And I know when I'm not using them, and I do feel great. So I am just totally excited about sharing these oils. I think there's so much to learn about them. We all can find different ways to use them, and I think doing a Google Hangout like this is such a great way to share and find out what you're using them for, Jacqui, and people can know what I'm using. And then it would be great to have other women to share what they've used these oils for because they are incredible. And my life, I just feel like such a blessing since these oils have come into my life, a real gift.
Yeah, yeah, I totally agree. And it's so interesting. And that's the key in it all too, is for us to share openly how we are, the successes that we're finding with them.
Mhm.
It's interesting though too, when you start sharing successes, I don't think I have any failures with any of these oils.
Mhm.
There really isn't any that I have tried up to now that I would say didn't work.
Yeah.
They all worked at some level or another. And
Mhm.
even when you mentioned too about it raising your vibrations, I do find that when I'm intentional of what I'm wearing and how I'm wearing it and when I'm wearing it, it does actually, I think, change the people around me as well. They might not be wearing the oils, but I think they're benefiting from me wearing the oils as well. So we
Mhm.
slowly will heal the planet if we do things like that.
Absolutely. And wouldn't that be a beautiful thing?
Yes.
Okay, so I think we probably need to wrap up the hangout, but definitely it looks like there's so much more we can share and talk about. And these are just the oils in the everyday kit that we've kind of quickly went through. And there are so many more products from Young Living that I'm excited to learn more about and share. So we'll definitely be having many more of these hangouts. And yeah, so I'm just grateful to be here and so grateful for you, Jacqui, for showing me these oils and helping me with changing my life.
And I for you, Heather. This is so
Great.
great.
Oh, good. Okay, so we'll post this recording and yeah, and we'll be seeing you guys all next time.
Sounds perfect.
Okay.
Good, thanks.
Okay.